Welcome to week 30. This is part 3 of disaster planning. We are going to talk about the pieces of your plan and reviewing it after you're done with it. We're going to have 2 videos for you today. The first one's going to talk about the pieces. The second part's going to talk about the review. So let's get going. First, let's grab that tool that you selected in week 20 and start talking about your plan. So the tool, again, could be anything from an expensive online program to a piece of paper and a notebook. That's up to you. It's just what you're comfortable with in terms of creating the plan and then executing from that plan. The first thing that you're going to start with is going to be milestones. You may have already covered some of these as you're listing out goals and that type of stuff with your plan, because that's what the milestones are, is, plans complete, or I reached this stage, whatever it is. But milestones are those key events in your plan that don't actually impact duration. It's just where you want to go in your plan. So they're named milestones, especially, for that very reason. They just tell you how far you've gone. They don't do anything other than that, really. And you can list them out in detail or as a simple percentage of tasks complete. It's up to you. At this milestone is we have completed this part of the plan, or at this milestone, 25% complete. That's up to you. I recommend that you do more of the detailed approach, but again, that's a preference thing for you. Next, you're going to identify the tasks that need to occur under each milestone. So tasks are the things that actually happen within each milestone. So you can kind of think of like the milestones, just this folder, and the tasks are everything that's within that folder. We always detail our milestones with things that say something like initial communications plan complete. That way that we know that everything underneath that, it has something to do with communications plan. And it makes it easier to figure out where tasks need to go. So as you're thinking of tasks for your plan, it might make sense to have them labeled that way, so oh, this goes under that part, or whatever it is based upon the name. Tasks are single pieces of work that need to be completed and are independent of others. They often have at least one person. Well, they need at least one person performing it. It's possible that like a computer or something, like there's some sort of resource performing that. But it's also possible that there's a team or a group of people performing that task. And in our example of like initial communication plan complete milestone, vendor email sent could be a task. So that's somebody sending emails to a vendor, or that could be everybody sending emails to the vendors that they deal with, whatever it is. The next thing that you're going to talk about, or you're going to detail out, are going to be the durations. This is how long a task takes to be completed. So this could be minutes, hours, or days, but chances are if you're dealing with a task that takes days to complete, is probably a milestone that has tasks underneath it. So you can have milestones under milestones, not really, but like milestones that have a lot of tasks, or, like kind of like the bigger task that has subtasks underneath it. Try and keep it as linear as possible, but you're going to have things that happen concurrently as well. You're going to just think about that when you're down the way, when you're assigning resources to it. And we'll get into that in just a second. But you want to create reasonable timelines for each task and keep in mind that the order in which the tasks occur, because we're going to link them next. So you've got the tasks listed, you've got general order and the length of time it takes to complete them, kind of, or, if you don't know, but, general length of time. You're going to start connecting them. So some tasks are independent and, they just happen whenever they happen. Some can't happen until others are completed. Some happen at the same time. Once you start linking everything together, it's going to give you a better idea of how long it's going to take to complete your plan, because you take everything that needs to happen in order. And if it's, this many hours, you add it all up, that's how long it's going to take to complete your plan. You need to consider in that as well, like you do need to sleep. So even though this takes, this plan will take 32 hours to complete, that doesn't mean that you're going to have it done in a day and a half. You're going to have to, that might take 3 days, because you're going to do 8 hours today, 10 hours tomorrow, and then whatever the balance is, the 16, 14 hours on the next day, whatever it is. So just keep that in mind as you're adding the timeline and figuring out how long it's going to take to execute your plan. After that, we're going to add resources to all of the tasks. We kind of already touched on that. So that's going to be Generally, it's going to be one person that should be in charge of that. It might be a department, a group of people. Again, it could be something that's automated, a computer system. It could be somebody outside of your business as well. So think about that. It could be a vendor. It could be the local health department, the business development department, whoever it is, somebody in your local government that could be a part of that plan, even though they don't know they're part of the plan, but you need to account for them. Make sure that when you're doing this, that you're utilizing your people correctly, and know, like, you need to realize if you have too many tasks assigned to one person, especially at the same time. So it's easy to put all of the burden onto yourself or somebody, one of your strong people on your team, but you're going to have to look at the allocation of that person, of their time, and realize, oh, I'm expecting them to work 32 hours today. Not possible. So you're going to just keep that in mind as you're assigning resources, and also keep in mind that they do, in theory, have a full-time job to perform. So you don't want them to be 100% focused on this plan unless you can find somebody to backfill while they're working on this plan. The last thing that we're going to cover in this video is going to be constraints. And that's stuff that could be something that would hold you back from completing the plan. They're not a part of the plan in the sense that, like, they don't get written in, but they go along with the plan. So you need to just think about stuff like resources, people, time, money. Could be an impact to your sales or your customer service. Like, these are things that are going to be affected in the plan based upon what you're doing right now. And you want to define the risk and the impact associated with that constraint, and create a backup plan if possible. You might not be able to do anything about it, and that's just a fact of life. Sometimes you can mitigate the problem and create a solution. That's really up to you in terms of what you're willing to risk when completing this plan. So that's it for this video. And the next video, we're going to have a quick one on reviewing your plan after it's completed.